Azure hosting models. In this particular chapter, we are going to see how we can deploy our applications into Azure. What are the different models available? Which one is the best for our kind of situation? Is it virtual machine? Is it app services? Or is it a cloud services? Which model is supposed to be used for deploying our application into Azure? Let me clarify before that, all our course is all about building different types of applications and hosting in Azure using one of these three models only. Implies right now I'm only going to provide a very high level information about these three hosting models, and obviously we are going to dig deep into them as we progress. So what is virtual machine? Virtual machine, as I have been telling you, Microsoft provides us with huge infrastructure in the form of data center, and this huge infrastructure, that is the data center, we are going to have virtual machines provisioned. They'll provide us with a control panel through which we can provision a virtual machine. Implies we can choose the configuration, we can choose the operating system, and we can choose various other information which is required for virtual machine to connect to the network. And by only choosing them and hit of a button, the complete virtual machine will become ready. Now that virtual machine can have Windows operating system or can be a Linux operating system. Virtual machine can have SQL Server deployed or Oracle deployed, or IBM or SAP also deployed onto it. So something which probably would take weeks of time for completing the configuration, with few clicks and in few minutes it can be provisioned. And the platform will then become available for us to develop or to do testing, or even for that matter making our application live. So yes, Azure provides us with a ready-made virtual machine, and these virtual machines can be chosen from the marketplace of Microsoft, or we can also create one VHD and upload that into Azure and use that for creation of a virtual machine. Implies Azure can be used for creation of virtual machine, which can also be used as an extension to our in-house data center. And these extension virtual machines can be used for testing of the applications, can be used for making our applications live, and so many other aspects. Azure Virtual Machine enables you to create server in the cloud that you can control and manage, customize the VHD settings, virtual hard drive, create multiple virtual machines and load balance traffic between them. Yes, when you know that your traffic is very high and the performance is going down, you can probably increase the number of virtual machines, create multiple instances of your application, each on different virtual machine, and do a load balance between all these machines by diverting the traffic or dividing the traffic between them. And it's all can be done with ease. One-time configuration is needed. Azure virtual machines combine the performance of world-class supercomputer with the scalability of the cloud. Scale from 1 to thousands of virtual machine instances. Yes, you can have only one virtual machine, or you can have up to 1,000 virtual machines. Plus, with the growing number of regional Azure data centers, easily scale globally so that you're closer to where your customers are. Basically what it means is these virtual machines all need not be in one data center. They can be spread across the world. So if I am in India, my customers would probably want to use Indian server, and if somebody is there in USA, we want to use USA server. And we can have something like that by replicating our application onto two different virtual machines, one in India and one in USA. And load can get easily divided. So that's what is virtual machine. Now what is important to know here is virtual machine is a solution for your application provided you want complete control on your operating system. You want to probably configure your operating system the way you want it, deploy certain special applications which are specific to your kind of application only. So yes, virtual machines needs more efforts for a deployment, but at the same time they give you more control over the machine. That is what virtual machine is all about. Then we have the second option, that is we can go for cloud services. In cloud services, we are going to have our applications developed either as web role or as worker role. Web role is an application which will provide access to internet. That means the clients on internet will access the web role, which is our web application. It can be ASP.NET MVC web application, or it can be ASP.NET Web Forms web application. And this web application will serve the HTML output to the user. Behind this web role, we can also have worker role. Worker role is supposed to be some background process which will be responsible for performing tasks which may not have directly to do with the end user request. Offline tasks, we can say. So in cloud service, we will have our application bifurcated in certain things in web role and certain things in web worker role. So it is a Microsoft platform as a service used to create scalable, reliable and low admin and services, low admin applications and services. The applications are built with roles. A role represents a single component built with managed code. Managed code implies C# or VB.NET, .NET code in general, which runs in the Azure environment in a virtual machine instance. That means here also we will have virtual machine, but on top of that virtual machine we are going to get certain ready-made services which will take care of what we are otherwise supposed to do in direct virtual machine installations. So that is why we say when we are using virtual machine directly, it is infrastructure as a service. But when we are using cloud services, it is platform as a service we are talking about. Support not only web deployment, but also multi-tier architecture, where you might have a combination of front-end, middle tier, as well as virtual machines running as a part of your solutions. You can do a combination actually. You can have only cloud services, and if required, these cloud services can communicate with certain other applications which are running on the virtual machines which we separately created. We can do a combination if needed. Remember, cloud services also depend on virtual machines, but we don't have to explicitly provision and install operating system and the web server and the .NET framework on them. They all will get automatically done in background. That's why it is very easy to make use of compared to direct usage of virtual machine. So it is easily deploy, scale out. All these are benefits. Load balancing is built in. You just configure how many instances you want. Automatically so many instances of your application on different virtual machines will be created. It can be for web role or it can be for worker role. They just happen to happen. They just happen because of some configuration files. Then we have got something called as app services, which are nowadays pretty popular. Azure App Service is the only cloud service that integrates everything you need to quickly and easily build web and mobile apps for any platform and in any device. That's the specialty. App Service is giving you facility where you can develop the application locally and from your local machine simply deploy it into Azure and do nothing thereafter. Rather, though App Service also will be deployed in some virtual machine, we will never be able to do a remote desktop access to that virtual machine. It's all taken care by Azure. And not only web applications in .NET, but also non-.NET applications can be deployed as App Service. App Service provides us facility for mobile-based applications also. So the easiest of all the three deployment model is an App Service, because as a developer you would almost have nothing to do after deploying the application except for maybe scaling in or scaling out. Otherwise, you don't have to do anything for it. In app service, there are four types of application. App service has been further bifurcated into four categories. App service web apps, where you can create and deploy mission critical web applications, very important. Web applications that scale your business. And these web applications can be in .NET, can be Java, PHP, Node.js or Python. Whereas cloud service does not support all this. Cloud service has to be in .NET only. Whereas app service, it need not be in .NET and can be in other platforms also. So app service web applications are there. App service mobile apps are there, where it gives us a feature where we can develop certain services which can be consumed in either native apps of iOS or Android or Windows or Mac. Store app data in cloud and or on premises. Authentication of users is taken care of. Push notification. Now what is this push notification? Server is sending some notification to your mobile device. For example, if I send a message to you on WhatsApp, your WhatsApp will populate from notification on the home of your mobile. That's not actually that easy task. WhatsApp message will first go to the WhatsApp server, and WhatsApp server will have to broadcast that message back to the clients or maybe to all those who are there in the group. Something like that is pretty easy to implement with the help of mobile apps in app services. You can develop asynchronous applications using app services. That means when you are using the mobile app, you do all the changes and save them first in the local device. You don't need to be connected to the internet. But once you are available on internet, all these changes which were locally done will get synchronized with the server. This can be pretty easily done in mobile apps. So yes, mobile apps also can take the benefit of the app service of Azure. Then we have got API apps. API apps will let you to take new and existing APIs and let them use in any other language also. Say for example, I have my own API for performing CRUD operations on my database. I can ensure that this API not necessarily become available to just .NET developers, maybe to other developers also, like Java or JavaScript or PHP developers. And for that I need to provide a wrapper which is taken care by the API apps. API apps can be used again either from another web application or a mobile application or a desktop applications. Any of these applications can make use of a API app behind which a native API might be in execution. Then we have got a logical apps. Logical apps are basically used for keeping your marketing and analytics software as a service application in sync. See, logic app is all about creating certain workflows so that we can instantly get the information about our marketing or about the business analytics. Simple example, if I take for logic app, it can be on my website, that is a web app, I will have a inquiry form. A user visits the inquiry form and fills up the data and submits it to the server. The moment an inquiry form is filled up and submitted to the server, we would want an alert message to be sent to the marketing guy, to the salesperson, so that they can do an immediate follow-up and convert the inquiry into sale. So these kind of things can be done using logic apps, and beautiful thing is you don't have to actually write any kind of code here. You can simply create a workflow. Simple workflow can be created and that can take care of it for us. So yes, these are the three different deployment models. Let me once again clarify. This is a very high level introduction what I have given to all the three, and we are going to have a deep dive into each one of them separately in different chapters of this particular course. And diagrammatically, Graphically, if you want to display how virtual machines are different from cloud service and different from web apps, you see here in virtual machine we get very low agility but complete control of the system. Virtual machines are ideal for supporting legacy kind of application development, old application development. Yes, virtual machines are ideal. Ease of management very less, agility very less. But you see, this is completely opposite web apps. High agility, very easy to manage, basic support for legacy apps, not pretty good for legacy apps, and you get decent control but not complete control. And in between lies the cloud services. Agility more than virtual machine, sorry, less, little more than virtual machine, but control is less than virtual machine but higher than app service. So a diagrammatical representation of how what you get in each one of them: low, medium, high. So I repeat once again, if you have legacy applications and if you want complete control on the operating system, go for virtual machine. If you have a basic web application which may be in .NET or may not be in .NET, and if you want to simply deploy it onto the cloud platform and make it available to others, we will go for web apps. And comes in between is the cloud service, where we can develop web role, worker role, a multi-tier application, where we also would have access to the virtual machines so that we can do a remote desktop and configure them as per our requirement, which is otherwise not possible in web apps. So 3 different platforms, 3 different ways of deploying our applications into Azure hosting models. Thank you.